currently the host of J.M. Bell's Left of the Dial on KSL Radio in Salt Lake City. It's a liberal talk show on KSL. I didn't know there was one until and he's currently the president of the Children's Justice Corps and also the media director for the High Road for Human Rights. So he definitely walks his talk. When I asked him who would invite to dinner, he said Gandhi because he knew there would be leftovers. J.M. Bell, Activism.
It's surreal to me that I'm trying to raise my children in a world where those who speak up against the status quo are demonized and called un-American, and those that work to curtail and to steal our basic, natural, constitutionally guaranteed rights are celebrated. It's surreal to me that when you fight for equality and you fight for equal justice and you fight for fairness, you're considered someone that McCarthy would have on a list. And when you lie, you cheat, you steal, and you break the law, you're celebrated. Now, to go back to the beginning, I started my career in politics at this young age, at 16, when I started in college. God, he was good looking. Now, at the time, and it was hard to understand, I was both pro-life and pro-choice and pro-war and anti-war for very, very good reasons. I was dating these two women. Now, at the time, there was not a lot of information available to a hormonal young college kid that he could figure out where he should stand, and so he used what he had available, hoping that the two would never find out about one another, and they did. Now, the tools available now, 20 years later, are exceptional if you know how to use them. Tools are only as good as the hands and the brains that power their use, and I'd like to think that I use mine pretty well. The first thing that you have to understand, and this is very important, is that your state representative or your Congress critter honestly doesn't give a shit about you, the individual voter. They don't. It's not cynicism talking. It is definitely cold, hard fact. You are not, I'm guessing, one of the high-dollar donors on the lists for your state representative or for your Congress critter. And because of that, you're unimportant to them. Your voice doesn't matter because it's singular. So it's important to understand how to communicate, how to talk to them, how to build up the pressure and keep that pressure constant. It's all about free speech, what tools are available to use, and remembering that you have every right in the world to use them. Start out with a website or a blog. I prefer this one. This is where you put your depth. This is where you put your research, your longer writings, your essays. This is home base, your blog, your website. Following up on that, you got to let these activists talk. They have to have something to do nearly every day, especially argue. There's nothing like a granola-chewing, sandal-wearing hippie bored that will not show up when they're supposed to show up to help you push your messaging. Second of all, free advertising. You know what I mean. Mafia Wars is not advertising. You go out and you make a bunch of fake friends, and then you bug the shit out of them day after day after day, pushing the same message to build up that continuity until you force them to say what you need them to say. Number three, keep it short. This is why you have a website. You point your text messages, you point your Twitters back toward either what events you have on your social network or what you have in deeper research. It's important when you push your messaging to get your point across. It's important to get your point across. You have no other thing, and when you do find the time to get these things out, to maintain that information. Now, Gail Ruzicka, who's head of the Utah Eagle Forum and freelancing Sith Lord, does one thing. She makes one phone call and the Utah State Legislature wets itself. Whereas Save Darfur, wonderful organization, who, as you can see in the picture, once used me as a spokesman, they talk to millions of people every day, and in 6 years, we haven't seen any movement from Congress. It's because they go about it the wrong way. As a bunch of very dedicated activists found out earlier this year, you can drive all the way across the country and visit your congressman, and what's going to happen is he's going to send out a flunky who's going to ignore everything you say. And it doesn't matter because it's a one-time visit. You have to own your issue. You have to get the hippies that are working with you, the concerned activists, to own your issue and to make that pressure every day. Phone calls, emails, everything they can. Now, I've pushed to the point where the Redis radio station in Utah has given me an hour, and last week they finally admitted that they have me on their air every week. And yet I can't get the head of the Utah Democratic Party to come on my show because he's afraid of the questions he'll be asked, because when he looks at my messaging, he can see that I'm honest and I'm consistent. I hold my own to the same standards I hold everyone else. If you can't put the pressure out and tell the truth, you have no message. You like that?
Awesome.
It was an
Thanks,
homage.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.